Bonjour. Here is your second Tegrity for Chapter 4. In this Tegrity, I'm starting with the vocabulaire complémentaire. So the second kind of list of vocabulary as opposed to the images you have to learn the vocabulary on the first page. I'm going to focus in on the verbs that you will be learning in this section. We're not only talking about houses and les pièces or apartment and les pièces or rooms, and what's in the rooms, like les appareils électroménagers, household appliances. That's a term that totally slipped my mind in the last video. I was saying machines. Un appareil is an appliance. Un appareil électroménager is a household appliance as opposed to un appareil audiovisuel. Now let's look at the verbs. A lot of ER verbs. You'll be looking at louer a little further along when we talk about different situations, renting or having roommates or sharing. Louer is obviously to rent. And a colocation is a situation where people are literally renting together. So a colocataire, do you see the link between louer? Loyer is the rent, and locataire is the person who is renting. And a colocataire are people renting together, housemates, roommates then. Partager is to share. Passer l'aspirateur is the word people use for vacuuming. Il a passé l'aspirateur. There's also the word repasser. Repasser. Le repassage is ironing. Ranger is another ER verb. You've never used it in this way before. To pick up, to clean. You may have noticed the word le rangement. Le rangement is the act of organizing. And they note that verbs like manger, ranger, et partager all have a little spelling tick. When you put them into the new form, like nous rangeons, nous partageons, nous mangeons, you add in an E, O-N-S, as opposed to just O-N-S, because of those rules. It happens with C and G as well. If it's a G-O, it would be gon. And you can't say nous rangeons, nous partageons. No, you need that extra E inserted so that you can pronounce it nous mangeons, nous rangeons, nous partageons. You also have the verb sortir, which you can go back and review in chapter 3. Sortir is an irregular verb that ends in IR. Sortir is conjugated like partir, to leave, and dormir, to sleep. So go back and review these verbs if you need to in chapter 3. When we work through the French language and we work from chapter to chapter, we're never 100% linear. We're always open to going back and using the book's computerized grading capacity to review and see if our review was the good one. So we can go back. Just go back to the introduction of the verbs in the grammar section from that chapter and do those beginning conjugation-based exercises. The computer grades your work and you see if you got it. Don't be scared to give 10 minutes here or there. It's when you try to save time and economize time from the beginning that you end up spending a lot of time on the work afterwards, or you end up getting too frustrated. You need to have this kind of, I'm going to review and get this attitude. So you have sortir la poubelle, to take out the garbage. And then you have verbs with faire. Faire is an important verb. Faire is to do or to make. It translates differently in English. There are words that we say to make dinner, where you would say faire la cuisine. And in this case, to do the laundry, to do the housework, to do the chores, to do the dishes, to dust. They're using faire as well. Faire la lessive. La lessive is the laundry. Faire le ménage is housework in general. And you see this word le ménage when you talk about a housekeeper or a woman who keeps the house. Femme de ménage. Faire. Oh, and you also see it if we go back to household appliances. Un appareil électroménager is obviously an appliance that's helping you do the housework, n'est-ce pas? Faire la poussière is to dust. La poussière is dust. Faire la vaisselle is to do the dishes. When you look for when you're doing your laundry, then you're working with a washing machine. Is a machine à laver. So you've got the A, accent grave, une machine à laver. When you have your dishwasher, it's one of those words that's formed with a hyphen. So you have un lave hyphen vaisselle. Washes the dishes. Faire la vaisselle. So as you're using these new words, you'll feel more confident. There's a lot of new vocabulary words in terms of verbs as well as in terms of objects and rooms. You'll see your first, and then you also have these exercises like exercise C, we start with C. Dans quelle pièce? Où est-ce que vous aimez faire ces activités? Here you're working on your pièce, your rooms, and you're also working on verbs. Here they also have a lot of nice review for you. You've got your ER verb, manger, étudier, to study, lire, to read, regarder, la télé, faire une sieste. So faire une sieste is to take a nap, or siesta. Jouer aux jeux vidéo. So here's how you talk about playing video games. If you have une console de jeux vidéo, n'est-ce pas une console Wii ou une console PlayStation, and then you jouer aux jeux vidéo, parler au téléphone, écouter de la musique, naviguer sur Internet. So in this activity, you're building up your confidence and that you can articulate not only what you do, but where you're doing it. And here you have, j'aime parler au téléphone dans ma chambre. That's the model. In the model, it's a two-verb sentences. So the first verb is conjugated, the second one is in the infinitive. J'aime parler au téléphone dans ma chambre. I like to speak on the phone in my bedroom. Moi, j'aime parler au téléphone dans ma cuisine. Dans la cuisine. You can use this activity to work on your possessive adjectives, or you can just use the definite article, dans la cuisine, dans la salle de bain, etc., etc. Où est-ce que vous aimez manger? Vous aimez manger dans la cuisine? Or, and this is a word that you also get in the complémentaire, dans la salle à manger. Voilà, salle à manger, salle à manger is your dining room, as opposed to salle de séjour is your living room, as opposed to salon. Le salon is the formal room. It's where you receive guests, where you have the apéro, where you may have cocktail hour or have dessert or after dinner drinks. It's not really for living. It's for receiving company. Où est-ce que vous aimez étudier? Où est-ce que vous aimez lire? Où est-ce que vous lisez? En général, je lis dans la chambre. Où est-ce que vous regardez la télé? En général, je regarde la télé au sous-sol. I would say au sous-sol, because when I'm talking about being downstairs or upstairs, I'm using the a accent grave, which is a preposition that you see very commonly. À l'étage, on the first floor, au rez-de-chaussée, au sous-sol. J'aime faire une sieste dans un canapé, dans la salle de séjour. Où est-ce que vous jouez aux jeux vidéo? Use variations between the two verb, j'aime, and then the verb in the infinitive, or the one verb conjugation. You have some other really good review exercises here. Dans quelle pièce ou partie de la maison. Here you're just receiving information, you're listening. Dans quelle pièce ou partie de la maison fait-on chaque activité que vous allez entendre? So you're going to hear different activities, and you're going to put them with a different part of the house. Or here, une activité G, le ménage. So the household chores. Indiquez la fréquence avec laquelle vous faites ces activités ménagères. So here, you're using different adverbs. You're practicing your adverbs, which of course go with your verbs. Tous les jours, that gives the frequency of every day. Tous les jours. Une fois par semaine, once a week. Une fois toutes les 2 semaines, so here you're having once every 2 weeks. Une fois par mois, ou jamais. So you're putting different adverb expressions of frequency next to household chores. And it's all done in the first person. So it's je fais la vaisselle. Je passe l'aspirateur. Je fais la lessive. Je fais le ménage. Je sors la poubelle. Je fais la poussière. Je range la vaisselle, n'est-ce pas? Il y a une différence entre faire la vaisselle et ranger la vaisselle, n'est-ce pas? There's the cleaning of the dishes and then there's the putting away. They're 2 different things. Et ranger la lessive, n'est-ce pas? On fait la lessive et puis après, on range la lessive à l'étage ou dans les chambres. And here you're going a little further. Qui fait quoi? Indiquez qui fait normalement ces tâches ménagères chez vous. Ma sœur et moi faisons la vaisselle. So you're using the nous, because anytime you say this person and me, you don't even have to give nous again, you just conjugate the nous. Ma sœur et moi faisons la vaisselle. This is a review of family vocabulary from chapter 3. Faire la vaisselle. Or maybe it's just you. Moi, je fais la vaisselle. Or maybe it's your roommate. Mon colocataire, ou ma colocataire fait la vaisselle. Moi, je fais la lessive. Mon ami passe l'aspirateur. Ou ma mère. Maybe you still live with your parents. So you say, ma mère passe l'aspirateur. Or perhaps both of your parents. Mes parents passent l'aspirateur. Mes parents sortent la poubelle. Mes parents rangent la salle de séjour et rangent la lessive. Mes parents font la vaisselle. Mes parents font la lessive. I believe that that's all for the vocabulary intensive activities. My next Tegrity is going to look at those activities where you are answering questions. I'm going to focus on questions because that is a perspective we're not going to lose sight of as we head towards chapter 4, part 3. So the third part of this chapter, we're going to be thinking about questions. I think it's good now to be just recognizing questions and focusing on your vocabulary for questions. And of course, as you can see, you have a vocabulary part 1 activity called sondage, le logement idéal, which you will have to do on the voice board with others. So my next Tegrity will help you structure that work that you will be doing online.